Hey guys, Eric at SoCal Cigars here. Wanted to do a video on the differences and maybe pluses and minuses, pros and cons of pipe smoking versus cigar smoking. Um, it seems like there's a pretty big gap between those two areas. A lot of pipe smokers I know don't smoke cigars, and a lot of cigar smokers I know don't smoke pipes. What I have noticed though is they both will kind of dabble in the other camp for a little bit and either decide it's not for them or maybe just keep doing it, but not nearly as much as they do their main thing. So most people I know that smoke cigars usually have a couple pipes here and there. They try them every once in a while, but they never really, I guess, flipped over from being a cigar smoker to a pipe smoker. And in contrast, the same thing, I don't see many people that are pipe smokers that all of a sudden said, I'm done with pipes, I'm only going to smoke cigars now. It's usually they just have it as a side thing and still keep the main focus on either cigars or on the pipes. So really the first thing I wanted to do was to go over, kind of the paraphernalia. What does it take to smoke cigars? What does it take to smoke a pipe? So let's run upstairs and we will take a look at that. And then I'll come back and we'll go over real life application. So go check that out and I'll be back in a sec. Okay, so in the two camps, we have the cigar camp, we have the pipe camp. Some of these items are optional and some you kind of have to have. So I'll kind of talk about each thing in particular. Let's start on the cigar side. Well, you need to have a cigar. That's kind of obvious. You need, for the most part, unless you want to bite the end off, you need a way to cut that cigar, okay? You need a way to light the cigar, but you could just use matches. So then that's all you really need as far as that goes. I mean, at this point, you can cut, light, and smoke your cigar. So you're kind of done. If you plan on using, like most of us do, a torch lighter, you're going to need that, and you're going to need a way to refill it on occasion. So that's going to have to be something you'll need to do as well. And you don't really need it. I guess you can just throw that cigar in your pocket, which I've done many times, and head on out. Or at least you'll need some kind of a bag. Or even better, if you're getting into it and you need to take in places, at least a little travel herfador. And then, of course, if you're going to get more and more into cigars, you're going to eventually need some kind of at least a desktop humidor, which, that expands out to really all you would ever really need to smoke cigars. So cigar cutter, method of firing it up, method of refilling that method, a way to carry these things around or your pocket, and you'll need some kind of a humidor if you're going to keep more. But if you're not, and you're just going to buy a cigar or two at a time, this is really all you need to smoke cigars. And I will argue this actually is all you need to smoke a cigar. And if you want to bite the end off, you can take that out too. So when it comes down to it, you really could buy a cigar, bite the end off. Not that I would recommend that at all, and light it with matches. And so you're kind of done. Okay? So that's the cigar side of things. Let's go over to the pipe side of things. Pipe side of things is, well, I'll take this out. You can see it better. You need a pipe. And they can range from, I've seen cheap pipes on eBay for $10. I've seen in bad shape pipes with a crack in it for $3. I've also seen pipes that are $1,000. So again, it's always going to depend. Like cigars, you can get cigars that are $3 and you can get cigars that are $33. So I think it's like anything else, what you were willing to spend on a pipe is going to change as you get into it and you start to really see the value in spending more and more money on better and better pipes. Same thing with cigars. So the other thing you're going to need is you're going to need pipe tobacco. So either in like a easy carry little pouch like this, or like I keep some at home in a jar. So really all the differences for me is one's easier to carry around and one's something you would store at your house. you're going to need a way to light it. Okay, so I have this type of a lighter, which is actually really cool. If you flip it open, see it's got a big hole in it. That's so you can actually tip it like this. The flame will shoot out the top, and then as you suck it over the pipe, it goes downward. And so this is actually a specific pipe lighter for smoking pipes, because it's got that big gigantic hole where you normally wouldn't have that. So that's kind of cool. Or you can use matches. So technically that's all you need, but you will need a pipe tool. Okay, this has got a little scooper, it's got a little tamper, and it's got a little poker thing. So this is, do you have to have it? No. Are you gonna want one? Yeah, it's a lot easier to use this little tamper when you're packing your pipe with tobacco and stuff like that. You can use this little spoon, because there's a thing that happens inside of a bowl called cake, and it's basically when you use it and you burn it, it builds up this like carbon, and so you eventually are going to want to scrape the pipe out to get some of the cake away. You can use this little kind of spoon for it. They do make actual scrapers. That's a whole other tool you can buy, a reamer. So the other thing you might need is filters. So you can actually take the pipe apart here, and you can actually put in a filter. And so if you wanted to filter your smoke, you can actually do that on a pipe, which is kind of cool. If you want, you can get a carrying case like this. So this, has pouches. It opens up. As you can see, you can carry the pipe cleaners in here. You can put this kind of tobacco thing inside the pouch. And this one will hold like 3 pipes. I've got a corn cob. I've got another pipe in here. So I only have 3 pipes. And then the little, where'd it go? This little tool goes in here. So it's kind of nice to have a bag. But again, this is kind of like the Herfador for cigars. You don't really need to have this. But if you're going to go, what you'll find is with pipes, there's a lot more work involved. So it's nice to kind of be able to put everything in here to be able to do the things you need to do while you're out there. And then again, you'll need pipe cleaners, because eventually you're going to need to ream the pipe out all the way through here to keep that clean. So it's kind of a harder call on this one, because I guess if you want to get down to it, technically, if you just had a pipe, some tobacco, and a way to light it, in fact, even just matches, technically that's all you really need. So it's not far off from a cigar. But in reality, once you're done smoking a pipe, you're going to need to use maybe a scraper and to poke things around to get things out of the inside. You're going to want filters. You're going to have to clean it. So, you could trim some of these things down as far as you want, but in reality, this is the stuff you need. I need to clean it. I want to put filters in it. I'm going to need a cool way to light it that's not just carrying matches around. I need the tool to tamp the tobacco in when I'm loading it. Obviously need the pipe, and to have it all contained in this is really nice. And to be able to buy bulk tobacco, it's a lot better to be able to keep them in these jars at home, and then you can just fill a portable bag of what you just want to take with you. So again, you can try to whittle this down as much as you can, and I will definitely argue that when it comes to the cigar world versus the pipe world, you need a lot less stuff to smoke cigars. So back down after taking a look at the 2 differences. So what I have in front of me, I'll just show you, is I've chosen to use my corncob pipe, and I chose this for a specific reason. Because if you're a cigar smoker and you're thinking about getting into pipes, this is probably where you're going to start. Most forums you read, most advice you get, most videos you watch, they say if you're new to pipe smoking, go get an inexpensive corncob pipe. Like literally, I think this cost me down the street at a cigar place, maybe $15. So it's not a big investment. If I end up not liking it, I haven't lost much. Really, I've lost the price of a decent cigar. I can do that. So let me show you the thing about this one, like I talked about upstairs.
So I did install and threw away the old one. This is a brand new pipe filter. So this is what a pipe filter looks like. Kind of funky. It just catches a lot of the nicotine and stuff and tar and all that. So you literally just slide it into the mouthpiece of the pipe. Then you put it back in like this. You kind of line up the mouthpiece so that it looks straight. And okay, so that's really it for your pipe. So what I've done now is I brought down some of my tobacco I keep in a jar that I got. This is called Black Velvet. And if you go to a cigar place or a pipe shop, they will usually have a wall of a million freaking different tobaccos and custom blends and all this stuff. So if you go to a good place, I highly recommend just chit-chatting with one of the dudes that works there and say, look, I don't know a whole lot about this. I want to get something. And you can tell them, say, as far as cigars go, this is kind of where I'm at. I kind of like this cigar profile, and they'll be able to lean you in the right direction. For me, I like kind of flavorful. Me, I like infused. I like there to be like the botanicals and stuff. So I got this Black Velvet because it's very aromatic. I think that what they call like a Cavendish. You might as well already tell. I'll tell you at the get-go here, all the pipe smokers out there that might be watching this, don't bother leaving too many comments. I will tell you right now, I am a novice pipe smoker. I know enough to be dangerous. I mean, I know enough to have gotten what I need to get. I know enough to manage to load the bowl. I know there's all sorts of methods to load the bowl properly, and you tamp the first third, and then the second third, and then the third a certain way. And I don't know, man. I can do what I can do. I can get it loaded, and I can smoke the thing. So anyway, so we've got our pipe, we've got our tobacco, and then I've got my tamping tool I told you about. So that's going to be I think these are important. Makes life a lot easier to tamp it down. You can just use your finger, which I've seen people do. And then also I've got my pipe lighter that I showed you before. So, all right, let's open this up. I just use these mason jars. I literally get them at the 99-cent store. They're awesome. I keep tea in these. I keep coffee grounds and beans in these too at work. So these things are very handy. I always suggest having a boatload of these things available. So, I will tell you. Sorry about the cough. And yes, this is a video during the coronavirus outbreak. I didn't want to really get into this. I already did that last video. But yeah, we are at home. We are staying in place because we're in California. It's a Sunday. It's a great day to make a video. It's actually supposed to rain an inch today. It's supposed to get pretty wet, so it should start raining any minute. And it's also pretty chilly and the wind's blowing pretty heavy, which is not common for us. But anyway, I'm coughing, not because I have the coronavirus. I'm coughing, and you'll actually see in my videos all the time, I'm always coughing. I've had sinus issues my entire life. I constantly cough. So it's nothing to do with the pipe smoking or the cigar smoking or the coronavirus. I just cough all the time because of my sinuses. So just so you guys know, you don't need to back up from your screen right now. I'm not going to give you nothing. But anyway, one thing I will tell you that's maybe a little bit different than cigars is that when you smell how aromatic, I mean, when I put my nose in this thing, I almost have to back up. It is so amazingly aromatic and strong smelling. And then when you put it in the pipe and smoke it, doesn't taste the same. So that's one thing I'll give you a little pro tip on when you're at a cigar or a pipe tobacco place. Don't be led too much by your nose, because what it tastes like in the pipe and what it smells like here aren't the same at all. You really have to get just used to tasting it. And the good thing is most places that do their own blends, like a place I go to locally does their own blending, they'll sell you little tiny packs up to gigantic commercial grade bags. So my advice is to talk to the guy who works there and tell him what your flavor profile on a cigar is like, and see if he can kind of lean you in that direction. So anyway, I'm going to start trying to load this pipe up a little bit. Again, I'm not a pro. What I do is I just start dumping some in until it kind of overflows in my hand like that. And then I use the little tamper and I tamp it back in. I'm just going to let you know ahead of time, This is sort of a messy process. That's why you can't see it, but I'm actually doing it over a piece of paper because I know that a lot of what I'm doing is going to fall onto that paper, and then I will then collect it and put it back up in my jar. So what ends up happening is you tamp it down. I know you won't be able to probably see in there, but it's about half full. Again, if you want to learn more about how to do this properly, I would go to some really good. There's some really good cigar pipe YouTube pages, and they'll show you everything, just like I do on this channel, with kind of walking you through the basics of the cigar experience. They'll walk you through how to load this thing properly, how to tamp it right. Because like I said, they talk about, like, you put in a third and then you tamp it a little bit harder, I think, and then you put in the next third and you tamp it kind of medium, and then you put in the top third and you tamp it a little lighter. I may even have that backwards, but I'm just, like I said, maybe in the comments you can enlighten me a little bit, because I'm not the pro at this. But like I said, I'm enough of a novice to at least get this thing full of tobacco. I've got the pipe. I've at least got a filter in it. I knew about a filter. Anyway, so now you can sort of see it's loaded. So really, the next thing to do is light it. Just take some draws on it, and I don't know, we'll see. With the wind too. Hopefully this works. So the first thing you'll notice is the draw is so much lighter than on a cigar. On a cigar, you've always got that kind of tight draw. On the pipe, it's way open. So you're pulling in a lot of air at the same time. And it's kind of hard to stay lit. And could be because I'm doing something wrong. I know there's something to do with the way you pack it. It has a lot to do with the way it lights and stays lit. I know a lot of people will actually start to put their thumb over it and get kind of daring, and even when it's lit, they'll kind of tamp it down a little bit. I'm not inhaling. I'm assuming, just like a cigar, you're not inhaling a pipe. I think that there's people that do. I don't. But like I was telling you right off the bat, if I smell this and I hit this, you would never know that this smells like this when you're smoking this. Not even close. So that's one thing I noticed, and I think that's maybe a watch out for people that might be just trying a pipe for the first time. Don't be disappointed when you smell these aromatic tobaccos and then you put it in your pipe and you smoke it and you're like, okay, where did all that flavor go? In the end, and again, maybe I don't have a good palate yet on this because I don't smoke pipe enough. You know, maybe there are people that can taste the notes I'm not getting, but that literally smells like sticking your nose into like a bottle of rum. And when you smoke it, it basically just tastes like tobacco. But it's kind of cool. I like it. I would definitely say use the filter. I think that's a good idea. I would definitely get a corncob pipe like these. Like I said, they're really cheap. And I think I even splurged. This was like 15 bucks. I think I actually splurged and got a decent corncob pipe, because some of them are really, they literally look like someone was out in a cornfield and whittled a little hole into a piece of corncob and threw it into the store and said, "Here, buy this." So this one's actually one of the better of the, because I think there's like 3 different models. One, this is like kind of finished and sanded down, and the bowl's kind of rounded and stuff. The mouthpiece actually fits very nicely in here. I can't remember what this is called. Sorry, I'm not a pipe guy. So please don't kill me in the comments. But it's a fun thing to do. If you're into cigars, I would say give a pipe a shot. I mean, this is doing pretty well. I mean, it's staying lit. I'm kind of retamping it a little bit to keep it like a nice tight lid there. Yeah, so you can tell by that when I tamp it down a little bit, I can tell that it's changing the draw just a tiny bit. So it could very well be that I just didn't do a very good job at packing the bowl. I mean, still a pretty light draw compared to a cigar. I'd say like a cigar, it's nice to have the right stuff. I wouldn't want to be out here in this wind with the matches because it'd be a pain in the butt. So getting this lighter that I showed you upstairs that's got the hole in it, that's seriously the best spot to show you. See, that's awesome to be able to tip it this way and have it draw down into the pipe. So that's pretty slick. And again, that lighter wasn't much. It was like 15 bucks. So I'd sort of equate the pipe world like I do with the cigar world in that you can kind of spend as little or as much money as you want. You know, you could buy probably a $300 pipe lighter. You can buy I know you can buy $1,000 pipe or more. You know, this wasn't the fanciest tool in the world. A lot of the tools had like inlays and jade and cherry wood and all sorts. This is probably the cheapest one I could find. It was literally like, I don't know, this was probably like $6. So we're $6 here. We're looking at 15 bucks for the pipe. We're looking at about 15 bucks for the lighter. I think this bag I bought, I think there was a small bag, a medium bag, and then the Gigantor Glad trash bag size version. So I think I bought the middle one, and I think this was like 13 bucks. And I've had this for quite a while, and as much as I smoke a pipe, I'll probably have that for a long time more. And because I'm keeping it in an airtight container, it's going to last. You know, that's the good thing. It's actually storing is almost easier than cigars. So some of the forums I read about how to store pipe tobacco, because I was thinking about keeping it in my humidor, and everyone said don't even bother. Just put it into an airtight jar and just keep it reasonably cool. I mean, it wasn't a very complex thing. The only thing I'd argue is that if you're buying different tobaccos, you need a bunch of different jars, and then I'll label the top so I can remember what the hell it is. So just kind of running through my head, because obviously I've got a cigar here too. I'm just trying to think in terms of practicality. You know, practically speaking, you know, I need to bring the pipe, I need to bring the cigar. What's the difference though? The difference is that when I'm done with the cigar, or let's say I'm out on a ride on my bike, and where the group's about to leave and we're going to hit the freeway or whatever, I can arguably snuff this thing out in the ground or the dirt or whatever, step on it, put it out, and leave it. You know, I mean, it's not the best thing to litter, but I can just do that and I'm okay. I'm not just going to throw this on the ground and drive away. So I'm going to have to do something with this pipe. I'm going to have to probably use this tool, pick all the tobacco out, clean it out, make sure it's not too hot, and I'm going to have to take it with me. So that's one thing I'm thinking in terms of practicality. I can't just drop and go with this. I've got to take this. The lighter, the tool, it's all the same. I'm taking, whether I'm using my torch for my cigars or my cutter for my cigars, that's all going with me anyway, just like the tool and the cigar lighter, or the pipe lighter are anyway. So really for me, the only thing I'm thinking in terms of is this. And obviously I'm not going to ride or travel probably with a jar. Like I showed you upstairs, I've got those ones that fold up. I can put that into my vest. So And I guess maybe the advantage of that is I could load this pipe an awful lot of times out of a pouch, where if I want to smoke 2 or 3 or 4 cigars let's say I'm out all day and then going to go into the evening, I'm going to have to bring as many cigars as I want to take with me and smoke. The pipe, on the other hand, you can't tell, but if you look at this jar and then you figure out how much I actually put in this pipe, I can't tell you how many times I could load this pipe with what's here. I mean, this would last me forever. So really, for how much I'm actually burning in this pipe, you can see it's gone down a bit, and I just keep tamping it down to keep the draw tighter. I could load this pipe over and over and over and over and over and over in the same day, and really just have the same amount of stuff with me. The cigars, I'm going to have to take as many cigars as I hope I'm going to smoke, and I guess the downside would be, what if I stay out longer than I thought, and now I'm out of cigars, and now we're at someone's house having a barbecue, and I'm like, crap. The good news is, like I've said, it's such a social thing. Someone's going to offer me a cigar because everyone's cool that way. We all give each other cigars if we're out. But with the pipe, I would tell you, I could keep loading that thing for 3 days straight and never run out of tobacco. So I guess the weird thing for me when I'm hitting this pipe is the draw. That's the one thing I feel weird about, because I'm so used to when you're drawing on a cigar, you're pulling through all that wound up leaf tobacco that's rolled up in a pattern, where this is almost like, this is shavings like you would find in a cigarette, almost just bigger and soaked in something. Smells great. The downside is that the draw is so full of air that you feel like there's not enough resistance when you're pulling through the pipe. It's like you're basically, go get a straw from your kitchen if you have one and just start sucking through that straw without breathing it into your lungs. So really all you're doing is sucking air through a straw into your mouth. That's kind of what this feels like. I mean, there's a tiny bit of resistance because I'm packing down the tobacco a little bit more, and because you're obviously drawing through the tobacco and you're drawing through that filter I put in there. Without that filter, I bet it'd be looser. But so let's flip over into the relaxation aspect of this, because I mean, the whole point of this video to me is, it's not so much pipe versus cigars. It's more like, how are they different? How are they the same? Part of the cigar thing is social, but I know a lot of people, in fact, most of the groups I'm on social media wise, a lot of people are always doing their daily dram and cigar combo. Here's the little shot of whiskey I'm going to have, and here's the cigar I'm going to have. And then everyone, oh, awesome, looks great, cool. They're by themselves. So they're not exclusively social. So I can say, though, that if you're looking at the aspect of it not being social, and you're just on your own going to have either a cigar or smoke your pipe, I will tell you that one thing I'm thinking is some of the mechanics you have to go through with the pipe, the packing, the tools you got to bring, the putting in the filter, going through the different tobaccos. It's a little bit more labor intensive, let's say that. But if you're coming out to have a smoke and relax and just chill a little bit, part of that's to be distracted from life, like we are right now with this, virus thing going around. A lot of what you're doing it because you're just trying to be a little distracted from that things aren't so great, and it's a little stressful. Well, to be honest with you, the pipe kind of keeps you busy. And it's kind of enjoyable. It's kind of relaxable. It's kind of relaxing. You've got to get all your stuff out and set all your stuff up, and you've got to do all these things. So I think if rather than just sitting here and staring off into space and chilling, which can be cool too, I'll argue the pipe's giving you something to do. there's a little maintenance involved in smoking a pipe. So what I'm thinking is, so I'm only about halfway through this bowl probably. So I'm gonna keep. I don't know if you can see in there at all, but oh yeah, you can. See, I'm just tamping it down, so it's about half empty now. And I started with it at almost overflowing, and it's staying lit better than I thought. And it's funny because this stuff seems so wet, you know, compared to like a cigar. This stuff seems like it's been soaked in liquid, and it's staying lit quite nicely. And this is not a great expensive pipe either, and this is doing fine. And I can remember one reason too I got the better version of the corncob pipe, because this bowl was fatter. Someone had said to me, you got to be careful because they're really thin straight up ones that look literally like a piece of corncob. When you're holding them, they get really, really hot. And I can even feel in the center of this one, I can feel the heat when I draw on it, but it's not anywhere like where I couldn't hold it. But I could see the thinner ones that are a little less expensive, because I think there's some in there for like $7-8. But I would argue this is actually, if you're gonna buy one, buy the best cheap one you can get, because I'll probably be able to use this pipe for quite some time. You know, a cigar, you know the cigar's over because it's done. A pipe though, you know, I watched some of these videos because actually I get a kick out of watching some of these pipe restoration videos, because they take these pipes that are like 100 years old. They look horrendous. They're all jacked up. They got dings and stuff, and they use all these methods to steam out the ding, and they revarnish it and beeswax it, and they get all this. They redo the mouthpiece, and they redo the fit. You can take a 100-year-old pipe. They call them an estate pipe. Basically means it's been pre-owned. And you can go through a whole restoration process, and it looks like you just bought it that day. And it's, you know, so that's 100 years someone's been smoking that pipe. And as long as they haven't really messed up the bowl or it's gotten a crack in it, and even then there's ways to fix it. I mean, they literally pour super glue in it and fix it. I'd argue I could have this cheap $15 corncob pipe probably my whole freaking life, unless it cracks in half, which I don't see. It seems to be holding up quite well, and it's a decent smoking little pipe for what it is. And I'll be honest with you, I think that is part of the appeal to a pipe. I think it is partly the mechanics of it, that you're having to do something and you're having to tend it and pay attention to it, and you know, it's not just to light it and stand there. This is something you tend. Like right now, I'm going to relight it a little bit. Interesting. Now I do notice, so you got to be careful when you do relight it. And I drew that one a little bit hard. I can taste a little bit of the bitterness, like you do in a cigar when you hotbox a cigar. Anyway, I think it's kind of cool. So I guess the pros, it's relaxing. It's mechanical. It keeps your attention. It keeps you occupied. You tend it. You know what I mean? So I think there's a lot of positives there. I think that like the world of cigars, there's so many cool pipes out there that if you actually got into the pipe world for collecting pipes, there's some bitchin' freaking pipes. And there's a lot of little gadgets and cool stuff, and so many different flavors of tobaccos and blends and all sorts of stuff. So I think those are all pros. I think the only con is that for me, like hopping on my bike, I don't see how it could possibly be more convenient than having a cigar, because I've got to kind of carry a bunch of paraphernalia with me. So that's kind of a downside. Yeah, that's kind of it though. And I will argue too that out of all the tobaccos I've tried so far, I haven't found really any tobaccos that are as flavorful as some of the tobaccos you can get in a cigar. I just think it's different when you've got this shredded up tobacco that you're putting in here versus these broad, full leaves that are being rolled up and made into a cigar, I don't think that there's any real good comparison there. I think that the flavor I'm getting from cigars is so far better than any pipe tobacco I've ever had. And it's very misleading when you smell them. So you've got to understand that. Don't smell that and think it's going to taste like that, because it's so far I've experienced, it doesn't taste like it smells. But I'd probably argue, because I know people have commented a lot of times, I've heard them comment that they love the smell of a pipe. So I'm guessing it probably smells better than it tastes. And it probably smells somewhere in between how it tastes and how this smells when you smell the smoke. Because I've heard a lot of people, I've heard more people comment that they like the smell of a pipe more than I've heard people say they like the smell of a cigar. Most people kind of complain about the smell of a cigar, I've noticed. Anyway, I brought a cigar to light up too, but you know what? I'm kind of enjoying smoking this pipe. I've already got this video longer than I wanted to anyway. And really the whole gig on cigars anyway. There's really no reason, and this is a cigar channel. You know I love cigars. I think when it comes down to cigars versus pipes, I just think they're a different animal that have a similarity that you smoke them and it's tobacco. But I think there's a lot of differences in other ways that for me, and obviously this is always a personal thing, for me, I don't foresee smoking pipes would overtake smoking cigars for me. I think that by far I enjoy smoking cigars more. I will say though, I haven't smoked this pipe in a while. I will say I'm actually kind of enjoying this more than I thought, more than I recall that I enjoyed it. So I have a feeling that I'm going to actually break out the pipes a little more often when I'm home. Or what would be cool, and I think I actually talked to one of my buddies about this, because like I said, several of my friends who smoke cigars have pipe stuff there too. We just don't break it out. It'd almost be kind of fun to have maybe like a pipe night with the guys who smoke cigars, you know, or maybe even, this would actually kind of be cool, because I'm always thinking of things to do with the group, you know, because like I've said so many times, this is so social for me. What would really be cool, at least in my lifestyle, would be to get together with all of my Harley buddies, especially ones that don't have a pipe but are into cigars. And it would be really cool to all ride over to like a cigar shop that sells pipes, have everyone pick up their own little $15 pipe and some matches, don't have to buy a lighter, and then maybe have them each pick out like just a little tiny, like almost sampler bag of different tobaccos, take a little ride, head back to someone's house, have a barbecue, sit around the fire pit, and smoke our pipes, you know. Instead of having a cigar night, maybe have a pipe night. I kind of like that idea enough to where I think I'm going to suggest it with a group of my buddies. So I think that'd be kind of fun to break out some different alcohols and break out some pipe action and sit around. Okay, so I think I'm finally at the end, maybe at the end of this bowl. There might be some more left in there, I don't know. Let me try to light it one more time, and then I'll let you guys get on with your day. No, it's not done. It was just kind of went out, but I don't know if you can see now in there. But it's down, it's probably down to here. So I've smoked for all the way down to here. And this video I'm at 31 minutes, which, sorry, I know this was not meant to be this long of a video, but to be honest with you, I kind of got into smoking this pipe, and it was kind of fun. So I would say this. It's starting to rain now too. This is great. If you're a cigar smoker and you've never tried a pipe, go buy a cheap corncob. Even if you go buy the cheapest one, go spend $7 on a corncob pipe. Get a little sampler, smallest thing you can get of pipe tobacco, and a free pack of matches from the store you're at, because they'll always give those away free. And give it a shot, man. You know, even if you don't ever do it again, throw the damn thing away or give it to somebody. But you don't even have to go buy all the other garbage I showed you, the pipe cleaners and filters and the bags and all the other paraphernalia. Just go buy a pipe and some tobacco, man, and give it a shot. And I'll argue, give it a couple shots, because I remember the first time I tried this, I was like, well, that's not that great. But actually sitting out here and just kind of chilling, and it's kind of crappy weather and a little windy, and, you know, it's a lazy Sunday afternoon. It's actually been pretty fun, man. So, again, not going to bother smoking a cigar right now, because you know what that looks like, and I think I've made the point between the pipe and the cigar action. So, anyway, I would say maybe add this to your arsenal of something else to do besides cigars all the time. I don't think it'll take over your cigar hobby, but I definitely think it's going to surprise you that it's pretty enjoyable, and it's pretty cool. So anyway, stay safe out there. Follow all the rules, at least right now, until we get past this virus thing, which I know we will. We'll be fine. Anyway, smoke those cigars. Maybe go give a shot. And you can order online, so you can get all this crap delivered to your house. You don't need to go anywhere to do it during this time of staying at home. And give a pipe a shot, man. You might be surprised. You kind of enjoy it, and it can add another thing to your arsenal. So anyway, Eric SoCal Cigars. Please like, subscribe, make any comments, especially the pipe guys out there. You know, if you see I'm doing something blatantly wrong, let me know, because like I said, I just know enough to be dangerous. So anyway, enjoy, and I will see you on the next video.